This is what happens in your body when you're afraid. Fear works in your brain the way local firefighters might work in a small coastal town in June. Your brain's gossiping chief, thalamus, wakes to thick smoke engulfing his house. He picks up his cell phone and texts amygdala, the fire chief, who also happens to be his brother-in-law. Now, because he's family, amygdala instantly dispatches an engine company led by his trusted lieutenant, hypothalamus, to the scene. Hypothalamus has trained his firefighters to react in one of three ways. Fight, that is, douse the fire source with a gush of water to put it out. Flight, that is, put their safety vest and exit if there's an explosion or a threat that could jeopardize them. Or freeze, that is, immobilize. Do not proceed if there is danger in entry. In your brain, hypothalamus triggers your fight, flight, freeze, FFF response by initiating bodily reactions that trigger the release of adrenaline, noradrenaline, and a host of other hormones that prepare your body for potential threats. Your heart races, your blood pressure spikes, and so do your blood glucose levels. You start breathing fast as your smooth muscles relax to facilitate oxygen intake into the lung. Your pupils dilate to allow as much light in as possible. You lose your appetite and you get the chills. You are ready for battle. But your local gossip isn't done. After the initial text, thalamus also rings the official police dispatch of your brain. There, he is interviewed more rigorously about his observations. He describes the situation in more detail. Turns out, there is no visibility at all. And he didn't actually smell the smoke. And you know, he really didn't hear the sound of fire crackling, nor did he hear any screams. Armed with more information, a pair of detectives from your prefrontal cortex department is dispatched to the scene to investigate. The younger observant detective, sensory cortex, interprets this odorless smoke as fog, and the older veteran detective remembers the summer of 1999 when a similar occurrence happened at the same location in a similar version. Your sage detective is hippocampus. She has been through it all and seen it all, and is able to provide the proper context to solve the mystery. It turns out it was all coastal fog. You see, coastal fog develops as a result of the condensate that forms when warm, moist summer winds are cooled by the cold ocean air. The detectives call amygdala, your brain's fire chief, to relay their findings, and he radios over to the lieutenant, hypothalamus, to stand you down. The thoughtful investigative work takes a little more time than a trigger-happy response to the hasty text message thalamus sent. This is why you experience the terror before you realize that it was all nothing at all, and you should just calm down. But what if thalamus had heard a scream as well? Well, your detectives would likely advise amygdala to authorize even more backup for hypothalamus, and your FFF response would continue. These, my dear, are the characters of your fear. Thalamus, your vigilante, receives stimuli from your senses, your eyes, your nose, ears, tongue, and skin. He decides where he sends his treasure trove of information, And like any trusty old gossip, he usually dispatches it to more than one source. Amygdala, the fire chief, determines a possible threat and triggers hypothalamus, the lieutenant, who prefers to act first, ask questions later. As far as the investigative team of your prefrontal cortex, sensory cortex is the interpreter of sensory data. That is, data received from your senses. While hippocampus retrieves conscious memories, processes stimuli, and establishes the required context. She is the question asker. Where have I seen this before? Is this linked to the weather? What other information did that dirty old thalamus give us? She is the reason you can calm down later. And like you would expect from a wise woman, she stores up all those fear memories so that she can add it to her database. Amygdala, the fire chief, also gets a copy of the memory stored. Comment below to tell me of a time when all the characters of your fear showed up. You don't need to know any of this to overcome fear. So why am I telling you this? I want you to know that fear is an inbuilt instinct. Your brain's responses are autonomous. You don't get to tell thalamus not to text amygdala. And you certainly can't stop hypothalamus from triggering the fight, flight, freeze, FFF responses. Thinking only kicks in at the prefrontal cortex department, and that is much later. The FFF response is an instinct every animal possesses. It is how we have evolved. I want you to know that even in the case of a false alarm, your brain is wired to trigger a fearful response. It is not your fault. It is the way you were built. But if you can wait for the investigators to kick in, you might find that there is little to be afraid of. In our day-to-day life, if we get a false alarm, it's okay. Eventually, our prefrontal cortex kicks in and we realize that we are not in danger. In deep water, it's another story. Your brain working the way it should with a false alarm could kill us in deep water. That is why we teach 5 firm foundations for freedom from fear, where I show you how to avoid panic and learn to enjoy yourself in water. Click below to register if you haven't already. We're currently running a pre-launch sale where you can take advantage of up to 43% off the regular price of the course and coaching. If you want to understand how fear can kill, subscribe to this channel so that you can be notified when we release the next video on the subject. I know you may not feel fearless now, but hang with me and we'll get there together.